Good evening, YouTube. This is my initial impressions of the Curt TruTrack weight distribution hitch and with sway control with my 2018 Ram 1500 Bighorn crew cab short bed with 321 gears and a Keystone Hideout 260 LHS. Now, when I initially bought the Curt Manufacturing TruTrack weight distribution system, I bought it through the dealer where I got the camper. Unfortunately, I don't think they had dealt with the Curt Manufacturing TruTrack weight distribution hitch at all. So they set it up the way they would probably set up hitches that they would normally use, and it was incorrect. When I was operating the truck, it was porpoising pretty badly going down the road and didn't feel very safe. So I redid the hitch. You started out with the camper level, and then I contacted Curt Manufacturing and asked them where the initial hitch ball should be set up. They stated with my truck and the trailer it should be at least 1.5 inches higher than the receiver, the top of the receiver. So the top of the receiver was at 20 inches. And if you see the blue painter's tape, I was using that as marking the top so I could reference everything. Okay, and then I used the blue painter's tape and I drew a line and used that as my reference point on the rear of the vehicle, and did the same thing for the front. So measuring 20 inches, then trying to go with the recommended 1.5 inches higher than the top of the receiver, wasn't able to do so. At the lowest setting with the hitch, I was still 2 inches higher than the recommended 1.5. So that's what I went with. I have another hitch laying over there, but I think it would have dropped it too low and I wouldn't be able to set it up properly. So I set it to the manufacturer's recommended first position. As you can see right there, it has a little cam lock and different hole settings that you can use. So I initially set it to the one position, got everything hooked up, set the spring bars in place, lowered the vehicle back down, and it was approximately 3 inches lower at the rear of the vehicle and about 1 inch higher in the front. Then what I did was I took the trailer off again, and then I loosened up the bolts on the hitch and used the cam and put it to position 4, because I believe that would have given the enough rise to get the truck to where it needed to be, or close to it. So I used position 4, set the trailer back on it, reset the spring bars, and then remeasured the front and rear bumper. And with the trailer attached at that line, you can see I had measured out, it's now at 28.25 inch weight, or height, excuse me, 28.25 inches high with the trailer attached. And the front is exactly 25.5 inches high, about a 1/16 inch lower than that or so. It's about the same on the front, and it's only 1 3/8 inches lower in the rear. I think that's well within the recommended settings. But the other thing I noticed as well is the measurement from the top of the receiver for the trailer is now 1 inch higher. So I don't think that's going to be too much of a problem. This is just initial settings, not anything that I'm going to be towing with yet until I get, you know, all the items in the camper and folks into the cab of the truck, and then we're going to go and find one of the cat scales and go ahead and get it measured out. But for initial setup with the Curt TruTrack weight distribution hitch, I think we're pretty close to where we need to be. I don't think going to position 5 would make much of a difference. Probably raise the rear of the vehicle too high and probably lower the front too much. So I think we'll leave it right here, and after I get everything all set and ready, I'll go take it for a ride down the road and see how it travels. Again, just my initial impressions on how to set the TruTrack up. Looks good, pretty good. The spring bars provide the anti-sway for the sway control, along with the large ball bearings riding in the detents in the part of the hitch. So it appears to be a pretty good system. Alright, happy YouTubing.